As a woman, do y'all be approaching men that you're interested in? And as a man, do y'all like when women approach you, or is that like too much? Because I kind of feel like men be caught off guard by that, or it could be that it's intimidating when a woman does that. I'm not really sure. I feel like male or female, it takes a lot of confidence to approach someone. I feel like men do it more often, so maybe they're used to it, but like as a woman, if you're approaching a man, like that takes a lot of confidence, right? Or is that bird activity? I don't know.
Okay, a few things. Why doesn't it take a lot of confidence, or why is that not sort of lauded when men do it? You just say, "Oh no, you're used to it." No, it still takes a lot of confidence each and every time, right? Some things you become numb to, some things you become an inhibitor, but rejection isn't something that's one of those things that you completely ever just walk away from. You completely excise from your life. You get better or you get braver, but it still takes confidence every time it happens. Every attempt, right? Because there's always that that nagging thing in your head saying, listening to all the things you hear online, all the things you see in media, all the things you see in print, saying, "Don't do this," right? But sometimes you overcome those things. That's confidence, right? And then you go approach, and men's success rate is varied, but walking away from that rejection still with your head up high, that still takes confidence. So we often don't recognize the male aspect of this, and we just simply say you're supposed to do it. Therefore, you don't really get any style points for it. It's supposed to happen. Um, but we can set that aside. When when women approach, right? When it does happen, it's so rare. Like an approach that men understand, right? And I think this is a difference that we have to be cognizant of. When women often say they approach or they show their interest, it's in a way that women recognize that they're showing interest. It's not in a way that a man gets. It's often not in a way the man gets. When you look at him and you smile, we that's easily often allocated to saying that's you being friendly, right? Or that's you trying to not appear as a bitch, so you're disarming, so I'm not threatened or I don't feel upset, right? If you cut your eyes and you're upset and you're having a bad day, you're still warranted. You still be allowed to do that. But I get when women say they have to seem like they're inviting for the talk because men tend to get violent or men can get violent when faced with rejection. So when men hear this, right, the good ones, when they hear that, they say, okay, when I see you smile, that could just be you being polite. That could be you just saying, I'm not really inviting you to talk. I just don't want you to do anything untowards, right? So before we continue, and there's another good point I want to make. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. And we'll play this again so I don't lose the train of thought and the point I wanted to make here.
As a woman, do y'all be approaching men that you're interested in? And as a man, do y'all like when women approach you, or is that like too much? Because I kind of feel like men be caught off guard by that, or it could be that it's intimidating when a woman does that.
Right. It's intimidating, right? We take being caught off guard and we don't accept, we don't understand that we're caught off guard because it's such a rare thing that happens. Approaching in a way that a man understands, that a man recognizes, right? It's the same as this when women say they want us to communicate or they want us to do things in their language, in the way they understand it. Well, men are the same in terms that we're human too. So when you do things that we understand in that language, we're caught off guard because it's such a rarity. Such a rarity. And when I have these conversations in real time in the wild, what I'm often faced with is disbelief. No, 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 it can't be. Because you believe a thing to be so, and the subject matter expert of their lives is telling you, no, women do not approach me. No, they must. I probably need to add the caveat: women don't approach me in the way that I recognize I'm being approached. If it's a smile from across the room, I'm taking that as you being polite. I'm not looking at that as it being inviting, as a come hither, please, I'm open to being talked to. Because in the past, I took that as acquiescence. Like, hey, come talk to me. And then what I was met with was kind of like negative. Not kind of negative, actually vitriolic, right? So those past experiences tend to lead, say, okay, maybe that smile isn't an inviting smile. And again, I hear this from women all the time. We see it all the time online. We see it when you talk to some of your female friends. Has been a very real experience. So men don't recognize that as actual approach. But to think that when you do approach, because we're caught off guard, it's because we're intimidated. I think that's a very normal language that is coded that men simply have to accept. That they want men to accept that we are intimidated by you when you do something that is inviting, that is nice, that most of us again just aren't used to. There's a big difference from this is outside of my norm to I don't know what to do because I'm tongue tied, I'm twisted, because here's a woman in front of me saying she would like to get to know me. No, we're this is the talking point of us being intimidated is so, ubiquitous and so prevalent that most of us aren't, right? The ones that say, hey, you know, women reporting they'll be on a date with a man, one of the first, second dates, and he'll say, hey, I was intimidated, right? Attribute that to that man. Attribute that to that man because most of the time, when a woman around me, someone I love, someone I care about, is doing well for themselves, I'm not intimidated. Or I meet someone and they're telling me their accolades, I'm not intimidated. I'm impressed, right? I'm ecstatic that you've accomplished the goals that you want in life, but it doesn't move my needle. I don't feel less than. And for the men that do, this should be the wake up call. This should be for something you need to understand. I want to make the nuanced point here. I definitely think there are men that are intimidated by women, by their success. I think the intimidation comes from an insecurity because when you meet people and they tell you about what they've done with their lives, it's often a mirror looking back at you. It's not so much that, hey, she went to Harvard, she's a lawyer, right? It's that you wanted to do those things or you wanted to have some level of of a similar success and it's eating you up alive. It's not intimidation, right? You're just looking back and saying, I haven't done what I'm supposed to do with my life. It's easy to try to throw that back at someone to downplay the usefulness, the utility of these degrees. Oh, she went to Harvard. She probably has that, right? We are so quick to try to break down someone because we know we're broken. We know we have not lived up to the potential that we thought we should have, that we believe we had. Not the world, not your parents, not the pressures of society around you. You thought you would be better, and you're not. This is not something we're leaving. We're talking about in a framework of dating and relationships when you meet women like this. But it's the same thing when men meet other men. That's when it's fine hearing the word intimidated because you're looking at someone that you're looking like you probably had the same chance as I did, right? When I'm talking in a way in which we strip away the ego, right? And if you don't understand how to do that, that's something that I think men would do well to learn how to practice because it's not a like I'm saying I'm walking around I'm a monk I'm egoless. No, I just know where its pain points are when it's supposed to flare up, right? And I work on those areas first, right? I absolutely have an ego. I absolutely have things that if they happens to me, happens around me, my ego will flare up. And sometimes it's like, yeah, it's by design. It's supposed to do that. Other times it's revealing where I'm weak. So when men are intimidated, men or women, then that is something that they have to work on. But land the plane to bring it home. When you approach a man saying that you're interested, I don't understand why the thought intimidation will come up anywhere in there. You're telling that man, hey, I saw you from across the room. I saw you when you entered here, and of a room full of dudes, you were the one I thought was attractive enough for me to brave the the river of rejection and say, I want to try. I want to shoot my shot. That's not intimidation. That's just flattery. Even if he looks like tongue tied, flattery, right? Maybe and it doesn't necessarily. And this is the point I think women need to also understand. You're going to have a higher success rate than most men, but it's not 100%. Nothing is. You may look at a man and say, that's who I want, and go up to him and he's not interested. Not because he's gay. It's not because he's intimidated. You just might not be for him. He may be very comfortable approaching women and he saw you and you didn't register to him. this is what happens on the male side when we go and we look at you and we say she's attractive and you shoot your shot and she's like she's not interested. We have to take that rejection with grace. The same thing has to happen when women shoot their shot. You have to take that rejection with grace. And I think we're probably far away from this being sort of the norm, because you'll see, just use evidence of what you see like online when women say, I approached a man and I'll never do it again. You you have the luxury of saying that. Men don't. If you never approach a woman again, then that you're consigning yourself to a life by yourself. And for some, that's fine. For others who still want women, but you're not going to approach them, that's another thing. But in all, conclusion, yeah, we're not intimidated when you come up and say you're interested. That just, we need to remove that from our vocabulary. But if you think I missed something, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to see you guys going back and forth. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know what you think. And of course, if you listen to sound my voice right now, you haven't subscribed, you are absolutely killing me. I'll see you in the next one.